All right, I hate to interrupt all the fun, jovial, getting to meet new people and everything else like that, but the program is just fantastic today. First of all, I want to thank all the Eco America team and our extended team that went through a long time putting together. And I want to thank everybody that's online. We were supposed to be starting at 1, and I think we're starting at 1:10, but thank you for bearing with us. And I just, we're trying to, one of the things that we're talking about is how we connect with people. Are we comfortable talking to them? And I have to tell you that 10 years ago, when I was on a plane sitting next to somebody, or if I was at a party and they said, "What do you do?" And I say, "I work on climate change." I mean, literally, it's something that, people just didn't want to talk about. Now, when I'm on a plane or at a party and I say, "I work on climate change," they say, "Oh, really? What do you do?" So people want to know, they're worried about it and they want to do something. And something like this badge is just enough to give. And somebody said, not enough time, take a picture of it. Scan it or take a picture of it and then take it home. And there's all kinds of great information here. And of course, yeah. So I wanted to mention that. And I do want to mention there's a lot of good resources out there. Some of them are Eco America, some of them aren't. There's what we now call climate action sheets. But this is, you go to the website, there'll be a 36-page brochure on climate and health and what you do in your health organization. There'll be a 36-page guide on, but nobody can use those things. If you're a clinician, you need to talk fast. So we're changing everything. We're going to change the name to talking points. No, I'm not supposed to tell you that, but climate action sheets are going to be changed, because on one side, it's just like what you need to know, 8 little bullet points. On the other side, what you need to do, 5 bullet points or 6 or 7, but it takes a big problem and it makes it very communicatable. It makes it very easy to deal with. We have them for health, we have them for faith, we have them for communities, and for your organization, we can make them, customize them, because, pediatricians want to talk about kids in climate change, and mental health people want to talk, and public health people. And so they all need their own stuff. You just can't have one climate sheet and have it be as effective as a lot of different ones. But there's also our impact report out there, which is what we do. You can take that. And I noticed Senator Markey left some stuff out there and a couple other orgs, but it's great stuff. Okay. So I'm 3/4 of the way done. Senator Markey was fantastic too. I mean, the 8.5, he was really, really good. He made a pretty sophisticated, direct approach to health sector people working in the health sector, told us what we needed to do, put us in our place, as it were, and challenged us to do more. This is Representative Lauren Underwood is going to come on for a 3-minute video recording. And Representative Underwood, she's a registered nurse from the 14th District of Illinois, which is very near to where I grew up, or just outside of Chicago. And she has a message to ordinary, everyday people about climate change. This is what she talks about. She talks about moms. She talks about kids. She talks about, people that need the help the most. And she words it in a different way. So, we're going to let Lauren Underwood talk to you. And then my guess is Ben's going to talk to you some more. Thanks, everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm Congresswoman Lauren Underwood, and I have the pleasure of representing Illinois' 14th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. It is a pleasure to join you all today as part of the National Health and Climate Forum, alongside so many great leaders in the health and climate space. As many of you know, addressing the climate crisis is a top global priority, and policymakers can no longer afford to ignore the pervasive reality of climate change. The impacts of climate change are becoming more and more apparent, not only in the U.S., but across the globe. The need to develop innovative and sustainable solutions to climate change is urgent. I'm grateful for this forum because it's a clear reminder that the time to act on these issues is now. The health of the world depends on it. While we've seen the effects of climate change in the form of more frequent natural disasters, economic disruption, and more extreme temperatures, we must also pay attention to its impact on health outcomes. Climate change is having a detrimental impact on social and environmental determinants of health like air quality, safe drinking water, food security, and shelter. According to the CDC Foundation, between 2030 and 2050, climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year from malnutrition, malaria, diarrhea, and heat stress. Furthermore, the United Nations has warned that the climate crisis exacerbates present inequalities and leaves women and girls to experience unique threats to their health. In the U.S., addressing climate change is critical to addressing another urgent health matter, the maternal mortality crisis. The U.S. has the highest maternal mortality rate among developed nations, and in 2021, the maternal mortality rate rose. Furthermore, Black women face a higher risk of maternal mortality and are disproportionately impacted by the crisis. The role of climate change in fueling the maternal mortality crisis and racial disparities is growing more clear. One study conducted by the U.S. Global Change Research Program found that increases in average and extreme temperatures are expected to lead to more heat illnesses and deaths among vulnerable populations, including pregnant women. As a nurse and policymaker, I am deeply concerned about the impacts of climate change on moms. It's one of many reasons I chose to serve as co-chair of the Black Maternal Health Caucus and why I introduced the Momnibus, legislation that addresses the complexity and depth of the maternal mortality crisis. As a component of the Momnibus, I introduced the Protecting Moms and Babies Against Climate Change Act, which addresses health risks relevant to the maternal mortality crisis that are exacerbated by climate change. I am incredibly grateful for my colleague, Senator Markey, who also introduced the companion bill in the Senate, because we don't have any time to wait. Our moms and babies are worth it. The health of our communities depends on it, and this moment demands it. Thank you for your time. I look forward to working together to address climate change and to protect the health and well-being of moms in our country.
To share that
Take
video.
care.
We were really excited to share that video with all of you just because, like Bob said, it's a really powerful way to directly connect, cut right through to what are pretty universal values of protecting the health of moms and babies. I know that many of our colleagues, that's why they got into working on climate and health, was because seeing the impacts on pregnant women, on infants, is what really pushed them over the line to saying, this is my main thing. This is what I'm going to be working on, is addressing the climate crisis. And so this is about as universal a value as you can have, and centering on that real world immediate impact and then drawing climate solutions from that is just a great way to get people more engaged.